Alright, y'all. Peace and blessings. God bless y'all. I'm Jarvis Kingston. I hope y'all doing alright nowadays. Now, today, I want to discuss about responsibility and accountability. Today, more people come up with more excuses, more narratives, and just don't own up to things anymore. Whether it's a choice they made or their behavior, or how they treat people, or why they didn't get a certain thing done, or why they didn't do a certain job, or why they didn't do a good job about it. People today love to blame others and point fingers and never just take ownership of anything. Today, our responsibility level and our maturity level needs a lot of work. Me, you, everybody, and everything we do in our life, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, we have to always own up to it and face it and be mature about it and responsible about it. Our actions, our choices, our life is everything, man. And, before we do something, man, we have to always think long and hard about it. Think about the rewards about it, think about the risk, think about the repercussions, think about the consequences, think about the karma factor, to think about the short-term effects or long-term effects and what you're about to do or how you're about to treat somebody or how you're about to respond to a certain scenario or situation. It's important for all of us to hold each other accountable, but God holds us accountable. Everything that we do on this earth, in public and private, we're going to get judged on it. So we have to always be mindful of that and always be mature and responsible about how we go about things and how to handle ourselves, And another thing that's going on too is you see a lot of people use mental health as a shield of why they didn't do something a certain way. You start to see a lot of more celebrities or more random people just bring up mental health, which isn't a problem at all. But it's like people are using that mental health narrative as a shield for why they don't want to own up to something, or why they don't want to hold themselves accountable, or why they didn't want to do something a certain way. So accountability is everything, man. It's very important for our growth. We learn from our mistakes, we learn from our bad choices, we learn from our experiences, and we keep it moving, And iron sharpens iron, man. We have to hold each other accountable. We have to be hard on each other. We have to be tough on each other with tough love. And iron sharpens iron, man, Accountability is everything. So I'm just going to read a few scriptures about it and then just go from there. I'm going to just keep it real short, sweet, and simple. Accountability is not something you have to thoroughly explain. It's an everyday thing. And, you're just accountable for everything, man. You're accountable for your health. You're accountable for your relationships. You're accountable for your job or your career. It all falls on you, man, You got to take care of business. You got to handle yours. So stop coming up with excuses and stop blaming people for stuff. You feel me? So I'm going to read some scriptures and go from there. The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 36. But I tell you that every careless word that people speak, they shall give an accountant for it in the day of judgment. The book of Romans, chapter 14, verse 12. So then each one of us will give an account of himself to God. The book of James, chapter 3, verse 1. Let not many of you become teachers, my brethren, knowing that as such we will incur a stricter judgment. The book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 23. Know well the condition of your flocks, and pay attention to your herds. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 2. In this case, moreover, it is required of stewards that one be found trustworthy. The book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48. But the one who did not know it and committed deeds worthy of a flogging will receive but few. From everyone who has been given much, much will be required. And to whom they entrusted much of him, they will ask all the more. The book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 12. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged. The dead were judged from the things which were written in the books, according to their deeds. The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 30. Therefore, having overlooked the times of ignorance, God is now declaring to men that all people everywhere should repent. The book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 19. Now we know that whatever the law says, it speaks to those who are under the law, so that every mouth may be closed and all the world may become accountable to God. The book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 25. Not forsaking our own assembling together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 8. When I say to the wicked, O wicked man, you will surely die, and you do not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require from your hand. The book of Psalm chapter 10 verse 4. The wicked in the haughtiness of his countenance does not seek him. All his thoughts are, there is no God. The book of Daniel chapter 6 verse 2. And over them 3 commissioners, of whom Daniel was one, that these satraps might be accountable to them, and that the king might not suffer loss. The book of Psalm chapter 10 verse 13. Why has the wicked spurned God? He has said to himself, you will not require it. The book of Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 20. Again, when a righteous man turns away from his righteousness and commits iniquity, and I place an obstacle before him, he will die. Since you have not warned him, he shall die in his sin, and his righteous deeds which he has done shall not be remembered, but his blood I will require at your hand. The book of Ezekiel chapter 33 verse 6. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet, and the people are not warned, and a sword comes and takes a person from them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood I will require from the watchman's hand. The book of Romans chapter 2 verse 12. For all who have sinned without the law will also perish without the law, and all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. So yeah, man, accountability is everything, man. You see how the Most High holds us accountable, man, you know, and there is a heaven and there is a hell, man. There is a paradise and the tree of life and everlasting life, then there's the lake of fire, man. We have to pick and choose, man, how we going to decide to live our lives from now on, you know. We have to read the word, we have to live by it, we have to do better for God, and we really have to hold each other accountable, man. We have to really look in that mirror and want to improve our lives and want to improve situations around us and want to do right by people, you know, make up for things, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to walk around with a guilty conscience, or, you know, walk around just feeling resentment or bitterness or unforgiveness, you know. You want to have a clean slate before your life is over. So it's important for us to own up to everything we did throughout our lives and be mature about it and face it. You know what I'm saying? So I pray to God that everyone who listens to this gets baptized and starts their lives over for God. I pray that y'all, you know, get a new life, man, because in these last days are more crazy. So much crazy stuff going on in America, so much crazy stuff going on in the world. God really needs us to do better and change as people, man. So we have to start our lives over fresh for the Lord. Let's hold ourselves accountable and do better. I'm Jarvis Kingston. I got much love for y'all. God bless y'all. Peace.